and we now go into the question answer. I'm sorry, Professor Dwivedi, we are already exceeding the time, but hopefully we started late also. Maybe we have another 10 to 15 minutes for question answer. I suggest that in the interest of time, we take all the questions together, and I would request respectable the panelists to jot down on what they want to respond, because the response would also should not be more than 2 to 3 minutes. Again, in the interest of time, I know I have a very unpleasant job to do of managing the time, and it is always the predicament of chairpersons all around the world that they have to be ringmasters to say no to somebody. I know that it's very, very difficult to explain critical issues in a very short time, but that's what the compulsion and the problem we have. With this, I open the discussion to the House, and those who want to raise question may kindly raise their hands and briefly put your question, not really go into elaborate discussion of or explanation of that. And panelists, please go on noting down what you would like to react on. Please identify yourself.
Sir, my name is Ravar Singh, and I'm second year MBA student of MERI College. And good afternoon, sir. Thank you for coming in our college for this MERI Dialogue 6.0 and enlightening us about BRICS. Sir, my question is, with tensions between India and China politically these days, how BRICS is playing the role in between them to have maintaining the multilateral countries, multilateral connections between the countries of BRICS.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Next, please.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the chance. So my question is that, sir, like we have discussed about the new development bank. So the question is that, sir, World Bank is doing good, but dependency on World Bank somewhere give the idea that they have the more dominance for India. So, sir, what are the transparency or governance or accountability they should follow so that sir for the global investor, they build a confidence so that they can invest in new development bank. Indian BBA student. So my question, thank you for first of all, thank you everyone for sharing so insightful knowledge. My question is that sir, as BRICS nation is increasingly digitizing their economies, so how will the blockchain technology can coordinate with these to protect the global south financial data from cross countries, depending on Western technologies?
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I have the good afternoon, sir. I have the question about if the BRICS countries have the economic potential, why have not they into a common BRICS currency? What the political or structural challenges are prevented it?
No more than two. Two more.
Good morning, sir. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. I have a question about how can BRICS financing turn Uzbekistan into a primary transit hub for the global South trades?
The last question, please. Yes, we.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ashwin Bedi, and I'm from MBA department. My question is that there are a lot of countries in BRICS. So obviously there are a lot of opinions among them. So how the BRICS resolve their conflicts when resolve their conflicts when different opinions regarding the challenges and opportunities come?
Okay.
So my question is specifically to Professor Kondapalli. Sir, in view of China obviously speaks a very enhanced role in the global geopolitics, especially through BRICS, and also in the region. How can it justify keeping in view its recent activities or rather the aggressive activities in the South China Sea, East China Sea, and also in the region, including the cartographic aggression which China is doing against India also and against many other countries in the South China Sea?
Yeah, I think panelists would note that how much Indians love China. And that's why we have so many questions and comments on them. Can we first take the online panelists to respond if they wish to? If they wish to, if you feel to comment on any of the point, you have your 2 minutes. To begin with, Dr. Kozulin, please. Can I now go to Dr. Adeto, please?
Thank you very much. I'd like to comment on intra-BRICS member countries' cohesion and integration. That's very important. I think difference is not enmity, but this difference should be seen critically. For instance, Ethiopia and Egypt both of them really are members of the new members of BRICS. But when we have the principle of dialogue, coming together, discussing together, I think that principle of strategic communication should be the way out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Rudolph?
To address the lack of the different viewpoints in the consensus, what I would say is that that's the beauty of BRICS in and of itself and as a mechanism, because countries and both member states and partner countries can determine what they can and cannot do in proceeding at a high level. But it's really through the working groups and through institutional mechanisms among the states that you see on the ground realities taking place, where BRICS has a presence and the lived lives of individuals feel that presence itself. And just as with respect to China, I live in China, and I have lived in China for over for 8 years. And what I will say, there's distinction to note here that within China and among the Chinese people, that they do like Indians, and I think if we can find a way to get at that people-to-people component in the nature of relations, perhaps we can overcome some of those differences. Thank you.
Professor Dubey?
Sorry, there's no question directed at my presentation.
Okay, all right.
Okay, thank you.
Shrikant, can we take you for the last word? You will have the last word. Just hold on. Professor Haider Rao, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think all these questions are very interesting. Difficult to respond to all of them because in any case, we are lacking information. Because what we have currently, it's the summits of our leaders. And there are no any other meetings at a lower level. So I think we should think a little bit how to expand our relationship at the lower levels, because mostly it's focusing on our leaders' engagement, but we should more focus on working levels as well, because without focusing on other levels, it will be difficult to properly assess what is happening in the world affairs, especially in the framework of BRICS. That's why I think especially academic community should generate more ideas how we can do it properly. This is, I think, the most effective way, and we can be more effective in this case. Thank you.
Shrikant, in the beginning of his presentation, made a very interesting point. The policy, the MERI should make a policy note and pass it on to South Bloc for decision making. I think I know a little bit about how South Bloc functions, and I'm sure Shrikant knows a lot about it, how South Bloc functions, to what extent they will act on their policy. But the suggestions is $1 million suggestion, and I think we will do it accordingly in terms of academic presentations and policy, which Professor Khadrov has just suggested, that there are so many notes which go and rest comfortably in the files in the ministries of foreign affairs all over the world, not only in India, and India is no exception to that. But with this note, Professor Kondapalli, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Muni. thank you also for all the questions that were raised from the audience. I think one of the major questions which has links with the other questions is India-China differences. How do they operate in BRICS? Now, a few years ago, there was the Samarkand meeting of SEO, and Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan were actually fighting with each other, blows, and they were discussing in Samarkand meeting. So we have that kind of a situation as well, where bilateral relations do not spill over into the multilateral initiatives, multilateral, meetings, summit meetings. In international relations theory, the liberal institutionalism, if you read Keohane, Joseph Nye, and others, they suggest that multilateralism should not raise the issues of bilateral issues. Multilateralism should not have the disputes being considered, bilateral disputes being considered. Multilateralism should not have the other member in the multilateral grouping as enemy. You cannot consider the other member in a multilateral institution as your enemy. If there are differences, then they have to resort to the CBMs, confidence building measures. So these are there in the multilateral format. So generally, politely, they don't raise the bilateral issues. There are exceptions, as I just mentioned, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan fighting 4 or 5 years ago when the meeting was taking place. And we also had India-China conflict indirectly during the Operation Sindoor, when J-10s, JF-17s, other Wing-Lung drones and others were supplied to Pakistan. So generally, we bilateral issues we avoid. And India, China being more mature, they don't bring all these. Unlike Pakistan-India relations, there is no spillover effect of this in the multilateral format. So this is one explanation one can provide. But yes, there are also occasions. Dr. Manmohan Singh raised the issue of Arunachal Pradesh and the water issue in Johannesburg meeting of the BRICS long ago, some 15 years ago. But that was a bilateral meeting in a multilateral meeting in the sideways. So that was all right. Second issue is on NDB. Someone raised on the New Development Bank of the BRICS. How can they sustain financially? So the member countries, BRICS member countries have deposited $100 billion, $25 billion each, with South Africa $5 billion as the seed money for any infrastructure project that these countries would require, because there is generally, as somebody mentioned, IMF and World Bank were not disbursing loans for a long time. And IMF, World Bank shifted to Europe because of the Eurozone crisis. The PIGS countries, Portugal, Italy, Greece, Spain, they were in doldrums, so much of the aid was given to these European countries due to the Eurozone crisis. So there is very less money coming into the infrastructure projects in the global south. So they decided to have the NDB, and NDB so far has disbursed $39 billion in about 120 projects, including, by the way, metro stations in India, water conservancy projects, transportation networks, healthcare related, educational institutions as well. Got a lot of investments from the NDB. And NDB is today now having a new model of raising capital from the private sector. So Dilma Rousseff, the president of the NDB, raised $16 billion from the corporate groups for financing any infrastructure projects. The other is NDB is functioning professionally, meaning they have a project overview committee. They will look at the environmental issues. They will look at corruption issues or other issues. So it is very professional. NDB is doing it in a very professional way, and This is also basically the way that the NDB want to learn from the IMF, World Bank, or ADB or other. So it is very professionally done. The projects selected are based on the ability of the recipient country to pay back the. So it is very professionally done. The third question is on the financial data and how secure is this when we are experimenting with so many the BRICS Pay, the SPRS, the CIPS, UPI payments in India. How secure is this? Now, BRICS began in the Rio summit last year about the local currencies. And then they found some problems in interoperability between different central banks. RBI, for instance, is responsible for Indian missions, Reserve Bank of India. Likewise, the People's Bank of China in China, the Russian, Brazil counterparts. Now, they're very conscious of the problem related to the financial data. Most of these are open sources. So it is based on transparency at the moment, but interoperability still is a problematic. So they were not really able to succeed other than at the bilateral level. When it comes to the multilateral, including all the BRICS countries, then the financial system is not responding in a sound manner. So that's where the bottleneck is, because you have to integrate all these data and also the mechanisms. So that's where the problem is. Yeah, so yeah.
Mr. Chairman, may I add a couple of words?
No, I hand it over to Professor Dwivedi now. Go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, he wanted to say something more? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just coming back to your words, Professor Kapadan, I would like to say that the key problem of current international relations, key problem, is a lack of confidence between the countries. It is the problem of contemporary international relations and multilateralism. That's why the role of regional groupings expanding and enhancing. But we should work on enhancement of our interstate relations. That's why we should fill this gap in order to achieve our goals. This is my point. Thank you very much.
Okay.